Hi everyone, welcome to Pitch Please, this is the podcast with the weirdly aggressive name,
It's
where
not weirdly aggressive. It's fine.
people who like games try and pitch games to people who make them.
So we're joined by 3 game developers. Introduce yourselves one by one, please.
Hello, my name is Ruta. I'm handsome.
What do you do, Rita?
I draw.
Hello, I'm Greg. I code.
I'm Chris. I am half of the developers of Brunch Club, former child star.
Right,
What?
brilliant. Really?
Really?
True?
Is that? Why would you throw that in there?
I thought I'd just shake things up a bit. Throw fun facts about myself. They don't necessarily have to be true.
Okay.
I'm Alex, that's Tom, who was speaking before.
That's Tom.
That
I'm
one
Tom.
over there.
And we're also joined by Ravs.
Special guest.
It's me, Ravs, Yogscast streamer, Twitch streamer.
Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scottish.
Current
that's
child
something.
star.
Current child star, yeah.
And today you've got a game idea for us.
Yeah, I've got a game idea, and I've spoke about this on stream, and I can't wait for you all to rip it apart. and
Well, it's
tell me
gonna
that.
might be great.
It's gonna end up very different.
It's also going to end up very different than what I imagine.
Okay.
I don't know the structure of your podcast, but
Just
do you want me
start.
to just
The
go with it?
structure
Just go
is
for
we
it.
do the intro, and I
Okay.
think the intro's done.
Pitch, please.
Okay, so
Pitch, please.
I'm kind of ripping off from another game here, but I was
Perfect.
playing what's it called? Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was really
So
disappointed.
what is Deep Rock Galactic?
So it's like a sci
What is Deep Rock?
What is deep cock?
deep cock blastolic.
Deep cock blasting.
It's like this sci-fi, like futuristic dwarfs, like in spaceships and big machines go onto like alien planets and fight giant bugs while they're mining. And they've got like this mule thing that follows them around. And like all the dwarfs sound really bad, and some of them don't have like beards and stuff, which I feel is not befitting of a dwarf. So while I was
Yeah.
playing this game and streaming it, all I could think about was how I want like a 4-player, but like maybe interchangeable, like a 4-player game that's in the same fashion as that, but it's fantasy dwarfs. And
okay.
you're going into the mine. You've maybe got like a little hatchet to fight some goblins or an axe to fight some goblins or whatever, and you're all going in with mining picks, and your goal is to just dig up like resources. And like if you dig too deep, you might encounter more challenging problems.
Okay, because Deep Rock
Like
Galactic
if you get
is
too greedy, you might go into a cave full of too many goblins. You might find a dragon,
A Balrog.
Obviously, you have to find a
a
dragon.
Balrog, like anything.
okay. So Deep Rock Galactic is a Left 4 Dead like
Yes.
4-player co-op game where you have to collect as many resources while you're also facing off against hordes and hordes of.
Nah, I didn't
Alien.
Well, that's
that.
like the
I
extra
didn't-
mechanic, right? The resources you just have to collect to then
That's the
upgrade
goal
your,
of the level,
your
yeah.
armor and weapons
Yes.
and stuff.
Whereas your idea is
I want like a nice fantasy version of that with proper dwarvy sounding dwarves and not whatever that was. No offense to the voice actors or the devs that made that decision. I want big beards. I want nice armor. I want you to get resources that you can take back and craft better armor to go deeper into the mine.
okay.
It's almost kind of like a roguelike. So at the start, I'm thinking you'd all be kind of bad. Like you wouldn't get very far, and like
Oh,
maybe-
is the point to die early?
yeah, I think it could
Okay.
work as like a roguelike, and like you keep coming back to like the little dwarven city tavern, whatever you want to make like a hub.
Yeah.
But as you get resources and you keep going and you bring it back, make better stuff, you can get further into the mine, and your goal is to get to the end of it or deep as possible.
So is it a procedurally generated game, or is it there's a set level and you just get as far as you can?
See, that's the part where I'm curious what the devs would
Well,
think of
have,
that.
have you guys played Deep Rock
I
Galactic? Do you know-
watched a video of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been on the
Sips played it.
Yogscast. It might have been.
Yeah, Sips enjoyed
It might have been
But
Sips.
what the Warhammer variant of what is Deep Rock Galactic being the 40k, I guess.
Mhm.
The
Is,
closest thing I've
Vermintide, I suppose.
Yeah, Vermintide, which
Yeah.
I think is a brilliant game.
Vermintide's great fun, but then
yeah.
it doesn't have that extra mechanic of like the gathering resources, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess you
Well,
could
it's
consider
very
loot, isn't
combat
it? So it's,
focused.
yeah.
Yeah, Vermintide is more Left 4 Dead than
Yeah.
Deep Rock Galactic
Oh,
is,
so
I
much,
suppose.
so much fun.
Where it has like the set levels and you just have to get to the end of the level and
Yeah.
beat the boss at the end if there is one.
Is Deep
um,
Rock procedural?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
feels
I think
like
it
that.
is.
It looks it.
It uses marching squares as its generation.
Mm.
Yeah, there you
Uses
go.
what?
Marching cubes, not squares. I don't know why I said squares.
That's a dev. Can you explain that in a
That's a
like
dev
non-
way of
non-dev
terrain
language?
Yeah,
generation.
I'm a real idiot, so you're gonna
Yeah,
have to dumb it
layman
down
that
for
up.
I
me.
for
mean,
me.
I just know what it's called. I don't know the.
Yeah, I'm not. Exactly
I mean, I don't know the
sure.
fucking
No.
the back end of it.
Okay.
Right. It uses
I know
squ-
people who do
What did you
but they're
call
not
it?
here now.
Squares.
marching cubes.
Marching.
I don't know why I said
cubes.
squares.
Cool. All right.
It's just type of terrain generation, but it's the same as Astroneer uses.
So
Okay.
It
what
means you can take
is that
chunks out of it, and
voxels?
it's just basically.
What's the difference between a marching cube and a voxel?
Maybe
Or
we
are
should
they totally
maybe,
different?
maybe we should explain what procedural generation is first as well.
Do we need to? I mean,
Well, I
it's,
assume
it's
that's just if you keep heading in the direction, new terrain will.
yeah, it's
create
like Minecraft
itself,
is
right?
procedurally generated,
I
right?
guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that people.
It's
probably know
just
that term, don't
random.
they?
It's based off seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, the computer basically builds the level for you as you play for it.
It's like based on a set of
layman's
rules
term.
that you've.
Yeah, you give
set
it a
out
set of
for it.
rules and a set of pieces and a set of instructions, and it'll put it together.
Like cave blazers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cave
Yeah.
Blazers.
Well, that's the thing for me. Deep Rock Galactic. The thing that I loved about it was the Vermintide part of it, the fighting, and that was that side of it. But then I felt like because Tom and I played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And the bit where I started to run out of steam was where it felt like I was getting all these resources, but I didn't know. It felt like I wasn't really doing anything with them. Like I can get like new weapons and armor and stuff, but then to what end? Like, it just felt like I didn't know what I was doing with it. I
So
didn't know where it was going.
that's where my idea. comes in,
Okay.
which I think you actually quite like. So
Uh-huh.
it's much more of your roguelike idea.
Yeah.
So you go in as a group, and as you dig down, you have to build a minecart track behind you.
Okay.
And the minecart always sits at the end of the track that you've built, and that's where you basically bank what you've collected,
See, I was
and you
just,
send it back.
I was legit just thinking that because I was complaining about like this mule thing you've got in Deep Rock Galactic that like follows you around. It's this big mech and you just pour your resource in it. Like the idea of like banking it back at a little minecart that goes up. And,
But then
know,
you
like-
can't bank until it comes back again. So you have
Yeah.
to bank at the right time, because if you die, you lose your
So,
stuff.
Yeah.
well, what if the further you get in, where the depth that you build your minecart rail to is where you start the level the next time round?
Yeah, but in my because that's where you can call the cart back and travel down, quote marks, travel down on it. But as it's a roguelike, you start again, but you use the stuff you've either found or the resources you've gathered to kit yourself out again.
From a previous run, that sounds like a roguelite to me, Chris.
Okay, so sorry. Yeah.
Oh, zing.
Oh.
I also
That hurt.
I think another thing about it is I don't know if it's just because I'm an idiot, but I can relate a lot more to copper, iron, mithril, things like that than I can to like morkite or
Unobtainium.
Oh, your classic
unobtainium
RuneScape
and
ingots.
stuff.
That's what you
Yeah,
want.
like I can understand basic human materials that exist and not like alien things that some writers made up.
Yeah,
Okay.
You know the inherent value straight away, don't
Yeah.
you?
So what was your actual problem with Deep Rock Galactic?
Other
than the dwarves didn't have beards.
and that they didn't have good dwarven accents.
Can you give us a couple of voice lines that you would want for our
for this
your
game?
game? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
for your
Okay,
one.
like we have to get back to the cart, or
Okay.
like
Beautiful.
here be dragons or something.
Oh, there's
like
dragons
that.
in this now.
Well, I think
There were dragons- you said
I think
dragons
you should
earlier.
be able to like dig into a dragon's hoard or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be an
I hate-
interesting fight. A
I
dragon
didn't-
in a cave.
What I didn't like about Deep Rock was like
Yeah,
you'd
but
just
you could
be
open up.
walking
Snap.
and nothing would be happening. Like you're not even near any enemies, and then all of a sudden, like some really heavy like dance music would start playing, and like fucking a million bugs just come at you, and it's just like, oh, there's a wave.
It'd be good if it's procedural. So like there's like a cavern that you dig into, and you're like, oh, fuck, because there's like a load of goblins in there, and they all do that thing where they all turn and look at you, and all their eyes are just glowing, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Can
And
you
then
then block up the cave?
Epic loop music just starts playing. Forget electronic. We have to keep it.
You have to
thing.
keep it in.
Keep it
theme,
themed.
yeah.
But I feel like that would be better. Like finding pockets of resistance.
Pockets,
Yeah.
Or and that's how you find like a dragon. It's like you dig in and then it's a huge
Yeah,
like,
loads of gold just suddenly
labyrinth, and you're
starts
like,
falling through the
you're like,
hole, and then
and I'm
good, but shit.
but it's sleeping, so you have to.
But then you also remember that you need to craft your minecart track, so you always have to build it.
Can you take your mind if you think, oh, these odds are too overwhelming? Can you jump in your minecart and get out of there?
Oh, I feel like you can.
maybe that needs
any
to be the
point end
way out.
level.
Maybe you need like all 4 players or however many players are still alive to get
16.
back to the cart. I think 4 players the best here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
All right.
I think 16 is a bit too chaotic.
Let's not
Look, I'm just-
overscope, Tom.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
throw gameplay mechanics out there,
Okay.
and you can just shut it down.
Mhm.
I
How are you
think.
going? Does someone have to push the minecart back up?
No, I feel
Or is
like
it like
it's
mechanized, or is it like
geared.
geared?
Are you building the track to another dungeon?
I feel like you should build the track as you go. So you have to spend some of your resources to build it. So you need
want to finish
to build maybe like there's a portable furnace you have to pick up and carry it and drop it down again and to smelt some bits.
Okay.
I feel like there needs to be oh shit, we left the minecart 100 meters back. We're about to die. Why didn't we run earlier or build it up to where we are now?
Yeah.
There needs to be consequences.
Are there split paths as well in the generation? I suppose there must be.
Well, I think it should be random and there should be like biomes, but obviously like kind of balanced. So like maybe it starts as just like this regular ass like dusty mine shaft, but as you start digging and getting greedier, deeper, you'll like maybe stumble upon a forgotten dwarven city. You'll stumble into like a goblin cave, a ogre's lair,
based on
or like
depth.
a dragon horde. As you're deep, it's got to be like a dragon or something. Got to have like big enemies down at the bottom where you're like geared out of your mind or whatever.
What if the greed is actually like a counter throughout the entire game? So the longer you're alive, the more gold you get.
Yeah, maybe the more gold you've got a more chance of.
Oh, the greedier you are, there's more
But
chance of dragons.
Or maybe as
spawning.
far
I think
away-
that's good, but I think you should have like carry limits. But you upgrade to get bigger carry limit, and the more you're carrying, the slower
I think
you.
Everything you have should be upgradable. So like armor, tools,
Shoes.
maybe like your pouch that you put the ores in or whatever. Or
But I feel like the more you
beards.
carry, the slower you should move.
I agree with that
Because
as well.
then it does
Yeah.
become a greed thing. It's like
Yeah.
in the Mummy, when the all the sand is filling into the temple, and the little man with the camels is trying to get out of the gold. It's very odd. That's the thing that came to mind.
weird
The Mummy is a
reference.
great film.
I mean, okay, but in
him.
terms of like a
guy
world
with
that you
fez.
can in terms of a world that you can cut apart and tear to shreds and everything like that, if you're moving really slowly, it's going to be super difficult to then climb back up. So can you build structures?
You don't climb. You use the cart.
See,
Well, no, that's what I mean. If you're far away from the cart and you're trying to get back to it, that's if you're really slow carrying.
feel like you
tons and
should be
tons
able
of
to-
Sounding a bit like Astroneer now.
I feel like you should be able to build.
You kind of build
I think you
yourself.
should only
little
really have
tethers
basic
and
things like a climbing rope that you can like hit into the ground and
And-
climb.
What,
and,
ladders?
oh, you're
and-
thinking about
and
Death Stranding now.
deployable
And bridges.
telescopic
Like,
ladders.
Be a
Yeah.
BB,
And
or
there's a-
maybe
there's
you're
a-
just hanging
and the
around.
bike can jump.
No famous actors or BBs or anything. No,
Yeah?
no Death Stranding influence at all.
Okay.
I put Mads Mikkelsen in the game, but
What, would
know,
you be
He's a
happy
dragon.
with Mads Mikkelsen being a dwarf?
No,
Well, okay,
No.
then we can't have
He's
Mads
a dragon.
Mikkelsen.
Dragon.
He's like
He could be the
Benedict
dragon.
Cumberbatch
Dragon.
in The
Be a
Hobbit.
you could
dragon.
voice a dragon.
Yeah, but
What if it wasn't a dragon? It was just a huge Mads Mikkelsen.
And he just goes, oh, and then
Let's
just,
not talk about my personal fantasies.
you just see him flapping his arms in the distance.
Oh, it's like Attack on
it's
Titan.
Mads.
Yeah. I don't know though. I feel
Don't
like
wake him up.
I think it's a decent idea. I think like on the art side of things as well, like it would be cool designing like a dwarven city and like these caves and all
I feel like
these
you couldn't
things.
do photorealistic with that.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
feel
wouldn't
it
go the Vermintide. You'd go the more deep
Yeah,
rock
well,
black.
Vermintide is like pre-made levels. Like there's no.
No, I mean in terms of art style.
No, but
just-
that's
I
what I
don't think
mean.
it
Like,
would
I
fit-
don't think any procedurally generated game can reasonably be photorealistic, can it?
Rust does it quite well.
Isn't Rust a pre-made level?
No, it's procedural.
Oh,
They've pre-made like the docks and the supermarket. They're pre-made assets,
right.
but the levels are procedural.
But they're dotted around a.
But that's
procedurally-
just sort of like a height map, isn't it? Which is fairly easy to do. But once
I
you get into
think-
caves and that,
They have caves as well.
Mm.
Rust has caves now.
Huh.
I mean, it runs like dog shit on most computers, but but that I feel like that has pulled off the photorealistic look for.
Would the characters also be naked, as in Rust?
If you really wanted to go down that route and start with naked miners, like maybe if there was a bit more story to it, you're literally working as like little fucking dwarven slaves in a mine or something.
my God.
the
I just
better
got
you do-
flashbacks from the episode of
We're mining
Chernobyl.
like our ancestors' mind.
Yeah. So like you're literally all you start out with a ball and chain and a pickaxe, and like the better
God.
you do, the better
Oh.
stuff you can get.
Oh, so you have to try
maybe
and
that's-
get.
Oh,
maybe
this
that's
took a
one
turn.
angle you could take it.
You have to
Building
upgrade your
prison escape.
pickaxe to break through the chain,
Oh yeah,
and then you can free yourself.
yeah.
So the first hour of the game is just fucking not being able to move, just
Yeah.
just mining like a meter around you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what you're working towards. Like if everything you mine, like
Mhm.
70% of it goes away to like your slavers, I suppose.
Yeah.
Then you're keeping like 30% of it.
I feel like you can
ready
still
to-
do the tax without being a slave. You can still be like, okay, whoever you send back, 60% has to go to the keep.
Oh no, I'm thinking of just like the opening, like the story
Yeah, I don't
emotion
think they're
area-
dwarves. They're
part
going
of
to
the
be
game.
mining anyway.
Yeah, but I'm just
You don't
thinking.
have to make them
What about-
slaves.
Drunken falling down a well, and the well was deeper than you expected.
Oh, well, like Sea of Thieves kind of drink.
Like 4 dwarves having a laugh, and they all fall
Well,
down.
so the way I kind of think of it is like almost like a D&D adventure crossed with like a roguelike. 'Cause it's like you're all going to set out, maybe like when you're back at the tavern, you decide what you're going to take with you. So maybe you'll take like ale, which could restore some stamina, but also gets you drunk, or like healing potion, or maybe provisions like that. So like, yeah, you could do something like drunkenly.
In my head,
fallen.
it's Sea of Thieves, but instead of water, it's underground. And
Where are you getting Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, where's
just
that coming from?
just the
I guess
four
it's the
people
4
working
friends,
as a team,
like,
yeah,
hanging
The
around,
grog.
doing stuff
and
together.
the drinking, the fighting, but that kind
but
of
with much more content than Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons more content.
Ideally.
like
For starters, you start as a slave.
actually, well, to us, I think the Sea of Thieves art style could suit that quite nicely.
It could. I think
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves art style could certainly work
I
for
mean,
that.
the one thing Sea of Thieves has going for it is water. I
Yeah.
don't know if you can get that much water. It would be dark.
You
I
can
know
have it-
there'd definitely be some sunken
underwa-
caverns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is the water in Sea of Thieves looks great during the day.
What's
it looks
wrong-
great at night as well, but in a cavern, not really much lighting going on.
Yeah.
Well, you've got your own like headlamps, and
Okay.
do you have a headlamp? I guess you wouldn't have a headlamp. It would be a
No,
candle.
start with
wouldn't
a-
it?
let's start with a
like
candle.
lantern or
torch on your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you upgrade it.
What's
do-
the goal then?
so
Like,
I
what's
guess the
main
goal is
I
just
think
to
the main
Yeah,
goal
that's
is to
awesome.
get
dig.
like to deep, just to get as deep as you can, see how far you can get, and then like maybe at the end, I don't know, like you could have like a big final showdown with like
Well, yeah.
a
What if-
Balrog or something.
What if you start a game and you need to choose like you have like a question and you have 3 answers and you choose one of the answers, and that answer depends what will you get in the end. So if, for example,
like Mass
the
Effect
game
3.
asks like, why are you going to this dungeon, and you can reply because I want money, or gold because I want to
Fame.
save
Oh, and
my
that-
village, or
Right.
And
or
that
rather-
might change what kind of
Yeah.
things you face down there.
yeah,
or whatever.
and
yeah.
it could be like if you say I want gold, you'll like find nothing in there.
yeah.
If I want to save my village, you find like a massive gold.
Oh, I
nugget
like
or
that because that
something.
would keep it fresh. It would keep
Yeah.
it like every run would be different because
Oh,
there's
well, every
always.
run you're asking that
Yeah,
question.
I guess if you get asked that
Yeah.
question every time you start, it will alter it. And if you've got maybe 4 people answering those questions, it could really like be a unique
Oh, man.
experience.
So
It's
like each
cumulative.
player has their own like they
Yeah.
have
It's
their own like,
weighted.
That's
goal.
actually a really good idea.
and I
really
feel like it
that.
tries to average out, and you're like, well, you're all
Yeah.
greedy.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
no,
They're all
but like,
fucked.
what if like if one of the players like they have like they have their own individual quests, so they select like
Mm.
one person has their quest is to get so much gold, the other person is to save their village, they have to find a certain item, and so you have to work together to complete these goals, but also like there's some kind
They're
of element there
individual
where you're
things.
you're working against each other.
Now,
in a way
could
as
this
well.
be a deception game? Could
Well, that's
we
what I was
introduce that
thinking,
as
that-
well,
yeah, yeah,
where
some kind of-
everyone like it would also promote playing online with people you don't know, where you can just play in the game with them, but you've still got your personal goal that no one else knows about. Maybe your personal goal is to trap the other 3 in the mine, or find some way to strand them and get out of there on
Yeah,
your
but
own.
if it's like too easy for them to spot you, you'll fail. So you've got to like really pick your moment to do
A
something
deception.
like that.
yeah,
roguelike?
This
Yeah.
sounds very
Yeah.
similar to that Lithuanian dwarf game.
It's not a Lithuanian game. There's a
What's
board
that?
game about dwarfs, and you literally you choose you get a card, and you see on your card you can you see, are you you're like, are you the team guy, are you the thief, or are you the spy?
okay.
And you go through the there's 4 goals, and you don't know what's under them, and you go there, and it's, I don't really exactly remember, but basically like if you a teammate, then you share the goal that you get between your teammates. If
Sure,
you're a
sure.
thief,
Right,
you
okay,
keep
I get
it
it,
to
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
If you
Mhm.
a spy, you give it to another team,
Yeah.
and no one knows who it is. So you have a teammate, but you don't really exactly know, is it your teammate?
So
it's
what-
like-
Called
What's-
Saboteur Forest.
Yeah.
Saboteur Forest. So
It's
that's
really-
the Saboteur Forest, the game, the video
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. So your game is a Lithuanian board game.
Cool. I mean, I
I mean, I
can-
say your
can-
game. I mean, we literally
Yeah.
only just introduced deception into the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
been-
do
Yeah,
like-
there's a lot of feature creep at the moment.
Yeah, a lot. I feel like it should be leaderboarded, and I
Uh,
feel like it's based on.
You have to have it, yeah.
Well, I feel because competition adds replayability.
yeah.
Competition adds hacking. I love
True.
when people hack into
But
leaderboards.
also, I feel like it should be based on like depth times, like depth, deaths, and
Time to get there.
and amount of gold.
Like if,
Because
yeah.
you could
Or
get
gold per minute.
because I feel like you should be able to continue as long as you want, or say you have a set number of lives.
Mhm.
You could do it all without dying,
Yeah.
and you'd be like top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I feel like I watched a video recently of someone who completed Rogue Legacy without dying, and that's extremely
Yeah.
tough because that's again a roguelite, where
So what is the difference between a roguelite and a rogue?
so roguelike
Elitism.
is a roguelike is where you start the game at 0, you
Right.
play through, and if you die, you start from 0 again. A
Okay.
roguelite is you keep some of the elements. Well, it's not complete. It's like the difference between a Nuzlocke and a
Sounds more-
Nuzlite,
Yeah,
which
so
I feel
fun.
like I'm
Okay.
introducing more terms here. But
So yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like what I'm pitching is a light, not a like. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think
because you're able
going
to play through
absolute
it.
0 again would be brutal, and what I have planned in my head.
yeah, you're able to use previous runs to influence
Are
future
roguelikes
runs.
a thing anymore? Is it more that roguelites are just the natural evolution of
Roguelikes
roguelikes?
are just fun roguelikes. They're a fun. No, I take that back. There are fun roguelikes. It's just
Name one.
Binding of Isaac is a roguelike because
Yeah.
you always start back at basic baby 0 tiers.
Slay the Spire is a
absolutely
roguelike.
nothing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess you can unlock characters and they're different playstyle. But again, they start as basically
Oh, I
nothing.
see.
So
Okay.
K Blazers is a light because you unlock power
Stuff
ups and
that
relics,
makes
and
your
stuff, which you can
next
start
runs-
with.
Yeah, and which makes your next runs easier.
What about Outer Wilds? What's that?
Outer Wilds. No, that's not.
That's
I don't,
that's
I don't think
neither.
I don't think that's a rogue. Well, actually, I guess it is a roguelite.
You keep one
It'd
thing.
be,
don't
it'd be a
you?
light, but it's not. Most roguelites are procedurally generated. Well, this
Well-
is the same again, but you just have to remember.
I mean, you start from the start of the game again, but you are armed with knowledge. That's Outer Wilds. Slay the Spire is a roguelike, I think.
What's
Yeah,
it,
But Rogue
completely
Legacy is a roguelite because when you die, you take all the gold that you earned in that run to upgrade yourself for future runs.
Right, I see.
Um,
Okay. All right. I
so
think
that's
I
the
grasp it
difference.
now.
You grasped it? So now do you agree this is a roguelite?
I would agree.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I have to
I
be
think I feel like
elitist
that's
about
more.
this.
That's just more fun to. I don't know. I guess it depends on the game, but like for this, there's no way that you can. If you like with 4 people as well, the idea of spending ages on one run and then dying and losing absolutely everything.
Oh, I guess
seems-
that does introduce a problem though of what happens when you die. Do you just watch the other person on their run for 4 hours, or
I don't think any round of this thing should be 4 hours long. But I
Okay.
mean, that would
How
also
long
be
have you s-
cool.
What if you're still chained together?
Oh, is this
Wait, so
we
we're
go
going back to the slave
thing?
thing, right?
Yeah. So
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That sounds
so if one of you dies, you have
annoying.
to, you have to
Octodad.
pull.
So
Yeah.
when you die and you're watching your mates, you're literally on the ground with the camera being dragged along.
Why
Yeah,
are we
it's just
moving so
rattling
slow? Oh, we're
around.
dragging Frank along the floor.
you get slower and slower.
So yeah, so you just you have to really try
I do
and
feel
keep your friends alive.
You do need to keep your friends alive, I think. I don't know if you could like bring a scroll of resurrection or have to have a potion for
oh,
them,
that's
or,
a
like-
point. Magic. We haven't even
Yeah.
thought about
No,
magic.
God,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
What
uh,
if you die? But it's like it's very hard to die. It's like
Uh-huh.
really, really hard to die. But what if you die? You become like a monster, but you cannot say to your teammates that you're still in the world.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
You need to like hunt them.
Now, I feel like that will add a lot of grievance into the game, though, where like you're gonna have an asshole who's gonna like jump off a cliff
Deliberately.
to deliberately become a monster.
Oh, I see.
But
to
maybe that's fun though.
Oh,
like,
shit,
because
yeah.
that could
Whoops.
be
Sounds pretty
fun.
good.
Happened again.
Yeah.
Guess I'm a goblin now.
Yeah,
What if you?
I like that.
What if on a run there's a certain amount of like substitute people, right? So you go, okay, we've got 10 dwarves on this run.
Yeah.
If you die, you come back as another
I
one of
like
the
that.
the stand-in
You
people
have-
ready to go.
You have the same equipment that your character would have.
Well, no, you can pick it up.
Yeah.
I would just say you pick
Oh,
it up,
yeah.
or you can spec out. Well, you can spend some resources that are already up there to spec yourself
Oh,
out
so
to
that's
get
a good
down there
idea. So
quick.
the character you go in with has got all your equipment. Going back to the slave thing here, we've got 10 slaves.
Yeah.
No,
or 10 backup dwarfs who like will spawn back at the cart, and you need to navigate back from the cart with like fucking nothing basic ass tools to get back to your body and like get all your equipment back.
Yeah.
Oh, so building the cart rail also has
Yeah.
the benefit of getting back into the
yeah,
Yeah.
right place quicker.
Yeah.
all about the
Okay.
cart.
It's all about the cart. That's
for
what
the
it's called.
for the prisoners with jobs.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. They don't have to be slaves. They're prisoners.
They're prisoners with
That's a
jobs.
better- yeah.
Yeah.
and they don't get paid or fed.
Well, they do because they can keep. You could probably get away with like pocketing a few. Maybe there's the like little prison pocket. Not what you're thinking.
Yeah, I went
A few.
somewhere else with
Keep,
that.
like,
I
you
went
could like scrape a few nugs. And then
What are you
that's
talking about? What?
Yeah, I do think
gold
these
nuggets.
Scrape a few nugs.
you pocket a
Prison
few.
pockets and
You're using
nuggets.
Prison
what have you
pockets and
created
nuggets.
I'm
lingo
trying
for
to
this
not
game,
say
or-
put gold up your ass.
Right. Okay.
Like you could like keep. So when you go back to the cart, everyone's like, "Oh, we got to put in what we owe
Yeah.
or what we've found."
Uh-huh.
You could maybe choose not to put everything in, and then the deception thing comes part of it.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
okay.
well,
I saw you carrying 600, but there's only 500 in the cart. Carl, what's going on?
Yeah, Carl.
I almost said Karen. I don't
Well, Karen can play too.
yeah, I suppose.
I really
maybe
like
there's something
the
like that.
deception idea though, but of like having different, well, not even deception, but like having the different objectives, like what Rutu was saying about the beginning, where you start the game with like having to
A
make
prompt.
a choice of
Yeah.
some kind of the idea that each player has their own individual quest that they have to try and complete, which
I like that, actually, yeah.
I guess that takes away then things like leaderboard elements and
Do
stuff.
they have
but
like a different skills? Like for example, one dwarf is better at
classes
blacksmith.
or-
Yeah.
Also, I was going to
Yeah.
say, what was the game? Deep Rock Galactic has classes.
That, yeah, I really didn't like that though, because one guy could
Really?
shoot. Again, it was probably because it was sci-fi, but it was like one guy got like a glue gun that makes these platforms. Somebody's got like a zip line and stuff like that.
Well, if
It's
you
like,
could spec
I like that.
before, so you pick a character, you get like 10 points, and you can go, okay, I want this guy to be fast.
Mhm.
It means he can't carry much, but he's quick and he's got, I don't know, like good. He's good at attacking. So you go, I'm gonna primarily defend us as we go through.
Yeah, I like the idea of having like maybe a defender to look after the people that are like mainly there to mine, that he'll try to stave off goblins or whatever, you know.
Yeah, because people are going to want to play differently. Some people are going to want to just
Yeah.
mine. Some people want to fight.
I feel
Yeah.
like if you every character you play should be random, and that forces you to pick a different play style. Because with
Yeah.
what's the name of the game? Deep Rock Galactic. I keep forgetting it.
It's not a
DRG.
great name. It's quite hard to
It's
say.
hard to-
Oh,
yeah.
DRG.
Deep Rock
DRG,
Galactic
Dirk.
again.
Durg.
I only ever played one class because it was the first one I played.
Yeah.
And I never then changed my play style. I want to be forced to change my play style.
But
Otherwise, I
I
won't.
I think that might be you. I don't know if many people.
Okay. I think
wanna-
that's you.
want-
You could no, you
wanna-
could combo that with
they wanna play.
the dwarf roster, right?
Yeah.
You could say, okay, you got 10 guys at the start. But what if you had to spend the money, or so at the start you get a starting chunk of money, and you have to sort of hire people, but you can
Yeah.
choose from a roster, and then you pick.
Oh, so
from-
out of those 10, you've got 2 defendy guys.
yeah, and you go, okay, so we'll take
5
that guy, that guy, that guy.
minors.
But we know
Yeah.
if one of us dies, one of us is going to come back as
Oh, so maybe
And-
in the earlier levels of the cave, you're like, okay, I'll take the shitters in.
Yeah.
And then
and as you get more money,
Well,
you
I
can
think
hire, you can bring on better people.
Oh, at that
Right.
point, I think it should be you've got a roster of 8, and that way the 4 players each get to pick 2 characters they want to take in.
Well, unless one person dies multiple times,
That's true.
and then they start taking away the health pool or
Yeah.
the life pool of someone
That's
else.
true.
And then they're stuck with
I
the real
do-
shitter that they
I
hired.
do think there needs to be either some way to resurrect or some way
There could be,
to
but I
get them
feel
back
like
in through lives, because I
it's
think
the
these
ultimate
games are.
end.
I love
I
the
think-
idea of dragging your teammates
Yeah.
behind you.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's making
what-
you
what-
slower.
Yeah.
Or you just like.
Are you still on the slave idea?
Well, I love it because like don't worry, I'll take you home. You get to keep all your stuff, or you could just go. You know what? Get your pickaxe,
you can just cut
unchain
the-
them. Sorry,
Yeah.
fellas, I'm out of here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, maybe if like part of it, like you can find somewhere on the run there are keys,
Uh-huh.
and you can find a key to remove yourself from the or like remove a dead
I
friend.
feel like that's always
Yeah.
an option. You've got a pickaxe. I feel like it should always be an option that you can just untether yourself from the other people.
I think the
Yeah,
tethering
but then-
thing
but
is
then why don't
gonna
we
make
just
the
do it
game very
immediately?
hard.
I feel like that's one that's making the game very hard. But 2, why didn't they just do that in the first place, and they wouldn't be slaves?
But because you have to get the right materials to break through the chain.
Right,
okay, yeah.
Right. Okay.
But what I'm just thinking, in my head, I'm just imagining a situation where someone is playing like this legendary dwarf that they were randomly assigned,
Yeah.
right? Who's got amazing stats. It's like got super high health, super high strength, super
Yeah.
high speed, whatever.
And he's called Keith.
He's called Keith. then he dies, and there's someone dragging him around because they're like, we can't let this legendary dwarf die because he's like so
great. That's a
bad.
great
That's what I mean.
story.
That's what I'm saying. And you drag him through cave after cave after cave, fighting through hordes of goblins, and then finally you get the resurrection thing, or you are forced to abandon the legendary Keith, Larry,
Keith
Forgotten
Carlson.
his name.
Keith Carlson.
I
the
feel like
Larryist.
that, but again, away from the slave point of view.
Why?
Just
No,
prisoners.
no.
They're just
You could
prisoners.
either
Prisoners
carry
with
his body
jobs, right?
or dump his body in the cart, which means you can't fit as much shit in there. And then
I
as,
even
as,
forgot
as,
about cards at this point.
as you build the track, the dead body just comes with you. But the thing is, you can't send it back up, which means you don't earn anything.
But why would you put it in the cart then?
Well, or carry it, and then that person becomes.
I just
only
think it would be
put them
really
down
funny
and
to
then-
see a
I don't
body being
understand.
dragged around.
Yeah.
But I don't. But you're all tethered together. Why
Le-
not? You
leaning
can't explore.
into Chris's idea though, like if you get like the biggest, baddest dwarf ever with the highest stats, maybe he's like physically big as well.
A proper fat
Yeah,
fucker,
yeah, so it's really
He's like
fucking
the
hard
only
to pull
dwarf
them
that
around.
he's so big he rides a real horse, and like you put him in the cart and you can't fit anything else in there. But we need to keep him because he's the good guy.
A big dwarf.
Yeah,
I
feel
call them
the
humans.
problem with I like the carrying the bodies around to like wait for a chance where you might get a resurrection rune or something.
Sure.
But I think the fact that you're tethered together is hindering any extra. Oh, there's a giant cavern. Okay, everyone shuffle to the left. Why not just let people go off and then because when people go off and explore on their own, that's when shit hits the fan.
What if it's like
Because you learn that I've just stumbled into a group of 20 goblins. Fuck. And you turn around, run back, and like guys, and like that's where Left 4 Dead works.
Well,
so
maybe
because
like,
you'll run
you were
into
just
a
saying,
room.
maybe like one of the prompts you get at the start could the shackles could be like a modifier on what happens in the run. So if too many people answer something too greedy or something, you all start. You're like, and they'll be like, yeah. And you look down.
you're all shackled.
You're all
What was your
shackled.
profession
together,
before?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that should be a modifier.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think-
thing in roguelikes.
Yeah, because
right?
then you
It's
could
that
have like
get-
different modifiers. So you could do more crazy stuff like that, like
Prisoners.
shackles and stuff. Just different things to make it harder and like more fun. Different every time you play it. I think that's
Yeah, because the thing about like the combat in those kind of games as well, like with and it's not the same, but with Vermintide, is the combat's really really fun, but sometimes it does get a bit like not boring, but just frustrating when you're just constantly. I don't know if you guys have played it, but like on the higher difficulties, it's so fucking frustrating to have to like spend like I don't know half an hour, 40 minutes or whatever into a run, and then just dying and being like having to start
One
again
guy
with, like,
runs off on his own,
yeah,
gets
yeah.
pinned down. That's where the shackles come in. 'cause
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
run
exactly.
away.
They
That's
can't
the
run
good
away.
thing. That I didn't play Vermintide and go, do you know what would be really good at the moment? If none of us can move further than 2 feet away from each other.
What if
They're
What
like,
if,
spread
for
out. I
example-
can't.
What if, for example, you choose? There's 4 players. They choose their own an options. Like when they get that questions, then
Yeah.
they choose, and there's a percentage. For example, 50 and 50, or 70, 75 and 25. So, like for example, 75 people. So 3 people chose to be selfish, and you wake up in the shack, locked up together because you got too drunk that night and police thrown you there to not cause any problems. And if you chose like to save your village or whatever, you just wake up in the morning because you went to bed early and you prepared go for adventure. And if there's 50-50, 2 of the guys went back to bed early, 2 of the guys left and drank the whole night, and they wake up wasted in the shack and they had nothing, while the other 2
Yeah, so-
players have already like a gear or something.
So maybe you could have like a positive and negative like chance of something happening on a modifier. So like if you pick the greedy one, maybe you'll get a buff.
I was gonna say you'd have to
Yeah.
have
maybe you get
a
buff
reason
that
to, because otherwise no one would go.
Because no one would ever pick shack
They
otherwise.
were
So
like,
maybe
I don't want to be.
maybe you've got a chance of getting like a higher yield from
Everything you
mining.
find is
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
twice as
twice
much.
as much. But there's a chance if you pick it, you could be shackled to another player. And
Oh, to one other player, and then
Uh-huh.
but then like there are 2 people that aren't shackled, and then 2 people
Yeah.
that are shackled together.
yeah,
like
because
it.
they both picked something greedy or you know, and then you could do other modifiers and buffs and things like that as well. So
I feel like every choice has to have a good and a.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
But then if
Yeah,
why
you're
would you
too
pick
good, you get like from time to time you get shitty things because you don't want to steal or you don't want to like,
Yeah.
do something
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
yeah,
What
I
about
mean, you could also have like the heroic option where you pick the hero, but you're just garbage at mining. You're just
Yeah.
a fighter.
Yeah,
That's what I said about the
you don't
specking
have
into
a
stuff at the
pickaxe.
start.
Well, yeah. But then
Like,
we've got classes.
you don't care about
But it's
the,
not classes.
you don't care about mining. You want to kill the dragon that you've heard is somewhere in the
Yeah,
mine.
yeah.
Yeah. So you've hired a load of slaves
Mm-hmm.
But
to dig for you.
I feel like classes are for me though, that's what makes it like multiplayer at least of those kind of games fun. Because like when you get, that was one of the things that the problems I had with Sea of Thieves is that was just part of the lack of variety of it, is that everyone just feels the same. There's no, all the movement speed is the same, all the weapons fire the same. Like there's no variety in like any of that stuff. And it just felt a bit like flat after a while.
But that's also the problem with classes, is it forces you into a corner. Say if you go, oh, I'm playing the healer, but I'm like, I really enjoy playing the healer. You're like, well, fuck you. Well, I'm now going to have a pretty bad time playing whatever other class. But if I can sort of choose where I want to put points, and they go, well, Chris, you need to have a little bit more health, so I'll be like, okay, I'll put 2 more points in health. I'll take. I still want to have good healing, so I'll take one off speed and one off like carry capacity.
Deep Rock does that though, doesn't it? Don't you
What?
have like?
What if your stats are all the same and you don't really have any skills or anything, and the only way you advance is through gear? So you
So
loot.
it's a classless system. Like Divinity
Yeah.
does that, where you can just play whoever.
Yeah,
It
you
doesn't
could
really
do it
matter
But
what
then-
character you
through
pick.
action.
You find
If you
like
mine
a
a lot, you gain
loot.
mining.
Yeah.
You find a loot and you find like a pickaxe, and so someone is looting all the time, and you're like, okay, I will give you a pickaxe because you do this. But like, if you find a stronger armor, give it this to me. So it's like you need to kind of
Right, okay, yeah. The person who wants to
me.
mine gets the pickaxe. The person
Yeah.
who wants to
Oh, I
fight
just-
gets the better armor. And
Yeah, I'm just imagining
Oh, God,
someone
now
coming out
items
of a
are involved.
cage. Yeah, someone's coming out of a cave, and they've just got this shiny armor, a massive pickaxe, a huge sword, and they're like, "Oh
I
god,
want to do
there's,
everything.
there's no loot to go around. Sorry, guys." And
But that's
everyone
not
else
fun.
is
It's not
naked.
instant. It's not instant.
But that's the fun. Then you start arguing with your friend, and then like it's like that. That's because that's what happened with us when we were playing Borderlands. We always were like arguing and betraying about loot.
Yeah, we put shared loot on.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
shit.
okay. Well, I
So-
mean,
I hadn't even thought about Borderlands actually as a comparison. That's
I'm
another
wondering-
four-player.
yeah, I'm wondering
would
if there's a
have to be
way
shared.
we can make this the most aggravating game.
Yeah, you
like
did.
just a friendship
You
killer.
shackled
That's what I'm
each-
saying. We
you shackled four
shackle
people
everyone
together.
together. We shackle everyone together.
I want
For
this
the
to
first
be a
hour, you're a
nice, fun
slave.
time of you all going
Yeah,
out
this
to
is
mines
this is
together.
Ravs' game, Tom.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm
I
just,
don't want to hate everybody, but I also do. I do kind of like the appeal of maybe someone having a little goal of like kill one of them,
Yeah, exactly.
make sure Timmy doesn't come back from the mines, and that's like his goal or something, you know.
But that would be great. Like Deception, like he needs to die, make it look like an accident.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
like,
that'd
how
be
the fuck
like-
does he do
Yeah,
that?
so like
Do
you
you know, like-
cut his climbing rope as he's going down a steep
Yeah, yeah.
bit
Like
of the mine or something.
in Vermintide, when you have to run back to the final area, and there's that bubble, or like in Left 4 Dead when you've got the exit and stuff. If someone has the goal to not allow, like to make sure that Timmy doesn't come back, just like that feeling of like shutting the door on them as they're like the last person about
as
to
like
run
a
in.
wave of goblins are coming.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I would love if the goal that you get is like make sure Timmy doesn't get out of this cave.
Poor
Yeah.
Timmy.
But Timmy
Timmy's really
is a
getting-
character that hasn't been recruited yet. So you're like, well, we need to die enough so that Timmy gets recruited, and then I need to kill him.
Oh, I see. Okay. right.
So you're also trying to delay it, make it dangerous enough that people do eventually have to swap out their character to Timmy. And the moment someone does, you're like, okay, you're the one then. You're the one I'm going to cut the rope for.
I feel like these secret things will be quite ruined by things like Discord. You know, like if you're standing there over Timmy with a pickaxe and you cave his skull in, and then someone on Discord's like, "Well, I'm Timmy, and Barry the dwarf just caved my head in." You're gonna
Right,
be like, "Oh
yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
we need to get Barry." You know,
And then Keith Carlson's there, like, oh yeah, I saw it.
I saw everything.
I saw everything.
Because I was shackled to him.
Because I'm basically on him.
this is turning into like TTT dwarves.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead mixed with TTT.
But
at this point.
that feels really good because I feel like there are quite a lot of 4-player games now of that
Yeah.
variety that do feel a bit like Borderlands. Like I don't know if did you guys play Borderlands 3? Is that the one?
Yeah.
we played? Like that for me felt so flat, and
I
Like,
did not
I was-
enjoy it.
I don't know if it was just the fact that like the writing was just, I thought was absolutely god awful.
Yeah,
I
and it's
hated
very
it.
much more of the same.
Yeah, I think that was
no,
it.
what
Like it
the
just felt like nothing had changed over
Mm.
7 years or however long it's been.
We
But-
enjoyed it just because we were playing together.
Yeah,
But
pretty
that's-
much.
I think that's it. Like, if
that's
it,
adorable,
nice.
isn't it? That's lovely.
but if I
Doesn't matter what game we're playing,
I
as
play-
long
I
as
play
it's
the whole
together,
thing.
even if it's Borderlands 3.
I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like it just there was the whole thing about that was the variety of the items and the weapons and stuff, right? But it felt like it wasn't enough for me anyway. I don't know. It just. I mean, I don't know what.
I think honestly, if Borderlands 3 you started as a slave and you were a dwarf in a
Right.
cave,
And you gotta go in a
you
mine.
were-
It'll be a
yeah,
different
and you were
game.
trying to dig for minerals and also build your cave network,
Yeah.
expand the chiral mining network.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I think it would be a good game.
Would
Borderlands 3 would be good if it was a
Wait,
different
does
game.
that? I know you're not a game dev, but does that mean you think my game's a good game?
I think we all do.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, hang
Oh,
on,
hang
we're
on.
not there yet.
I'm-
We're waiting.
Oh, sorry, okay, yes.
Okay.
That's
not the
format.
So
Can you give
my
a
heart could be ripped out right at the moment. I'm sitting here thinking, this is
yeah,
going
give
to
a
well.
give a summary of what your game now is and give it a name.
Yeah, you got to name it.
Okay, so it's a 4-player, well, up to 4-player, but I think mainly 4-player roguelite, like not RPG, but like kind of like actiony adventure, kind of. you
With
know.
with stats.
I don't know about the stats yet. That's some of your ideas, but I do
Okay.
think I really like the
He hates it.
variations idea. Like, I think that could add some interesting modifiers to the runs, and it would make it. I think it needs to be fresh every time you play it.
Mhm.
I think the goal is to get to the bottom. I don't know what's at the bottom.
Dragon. Mads Mikkelsen.
A dragon.
Mads Mikkelsen, the
Mads
dragon.
Maybe the
Mads
dragon
Mikkelsen.
is like the ultimate
Oh,
goal.
no, dragon.
Yeah, and that's
Or
like the
maybe
deepest
there's
Dragon on
nothing.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Maybe
Mhm.
there's nothing.
Maybe it's
it's like
nothing.
No Man's
Maybe-
Sky.
Or yeah, like
You
that.
get to the end and
what
it
was
just
that
says
Peter Molyneux mobile game?
Goddess.
No,
Was it
the-
was
oh,
it
the
Peter
cube-
Molyneux was
the
in
cube
there?
was
It
like-
like Peter
Curiosity
Molyneux.
Cube.
It was a
Yeah.
massive
Yeah.
Peter Molyneux
Yeah.
in the cave.
Your
Presenting
life,
his next game.
your life,
Him and Milo.
yeah.
All of a sudden, it becomes a
finally get to
connect.
play with
it becomes
Milo.
a connect
Your
game.
life will be changed when you get to the center of my cube, and I could
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
your life will change forever when the 4 of you make it to the end of my mine, and it's just the credits.
Just
just roll.
Yeah.
Peter Molyneux's
It's
dwarf
just
and
me
roguelike.
going, yeah.
Okay,
so,
so at the bottom of the mine is Peter
yeah.
Molyneux now.
Yeah, it's Peter Molyneux at the bottom of the mine.
Yeah.
And he just laughs at you and kills all 4 of you instantly, and that's the end of the game.
I feel like
Yeah.
you should have some like
Mhm.
subbosses in there. Who's like, Phil Fish? I'm trying to think of famous game devs who have gone into like the ether.
Uh-huh.
Obscurity.
So-
the entirety of Hello
Obscurity.
Games.
Summary:
No, they're
4 players,
All right now.
roguelite. There's a tavern / crafting area at the start that serves as a sort of lobby before you set off for the adventure, so you can take your provisions and stuff. When you're going in, you get asked a prompt, I think, that adds modifiers to the run, keeps it fresh, keeps it different, procedurally generated, so every mine is different.
cart.
Cart, yeah, build a cart to like get further in. Uncover random enemies, different biomes, such as like a forgotten dwarven city, a deep mushroom cave. There's so much room for stuff like that. Maybe a bit of deception, like with maybe like there's
Just
a
a little
personal goal for each person, and then you got to get to the end and get killed by Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
And maybe if you like having to leave little Timmy, what happened? They don't necessarily get killed by enemies. They're just locked in the cavern forever, having to listen to Peter Molyneux's pitches.
Pitch them
Yeah.
ideas.
Yeah, Peter
God,
Molyneux
that sounds like
drags you into
hell.
a cage and pitches games to you.
Oh, listening
We
to
had it- we had
people
him
with
here,
flighty
yeah.
ideas pitch their
He
games.
came into
Yeah.
were you here when he
Yeah,
came
well,
into the
that's
office
a
a few
shit
years ago?
idea.
Uh-huh. So that's the
What? Yeah, you did
summary.
come to the
Big-
office.
Yeah,
Yeah, the,
Wait,
lot,
what's-
the
what's
old
going on
office,
now?
Peter Molyneux.
big vapor.
Is it? He's just fat,
That's all I
fat
remember. of him.
clouds.
Wait, what? Sorry, what? I missed that
Big
completely.
Peter
vape,
Molyneux.
big ideas.
He came down to see us a few years ago.
The old office.
Did
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
What
I
do I
there?
remember about him? He was lovely. I can't remember. It was in the old office.
I was there.
Maybe-
It was a big vapor. Did you say?
just constantly vaping. That's all I remember. About
Ripping
him.
fat clouds.
Yeah,
Really?
right up in my face. No, he was lovely.
He's like, you won't believe what's at the centre of this cloud.
Almost took my trilby off.
Oh fuck.
Title,
Alex just slices through it.
title,
Okay, let's go back.
title
Yeah,
of the game. So I've done the summary. Title.
It's got to have deep in it.
yeah. So you're
no,
mining.
No, we don't want to be associated
Oh, yeah.
with that game that I hate.
It should have Peter
I
Molyneux.
mean, you're
in it,
mining
though.
into the deep
Presented
rock.
by
So I've
Peter
got two
Molyneux.
titles.
Mm.
I've got Minds of Mistrust,
Oh.
and I've also
Oh.
got Molyneux.
Molyneux, and then a mining adventure.
Molyneux.
There you go.
Yeah, Molyneux : a mining adventure.
I mean, that's pretty good.
I've got a quick idea that I'll hate myself if I don't share it with, but
Oh,
the game
please.
starts off in a tavern.
Yeah.
How are we gonna? How are players gonna build their characters? What about if at the tavern it's a drinking game, and you can the more you drink, the more points you get into your stats.
Oh, that's
But you
good.
don't know what your tolerance level is for dwarf. So if you drink too much, then you wake up
Shackled.
shackled. Other drunks.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah,
there's
it has
where
to
the
be
greed
drink- yeah,
comes
drinking
in.
Yeah,
games
and maybe
like
that's
that,
where
yeah.
the prompt could come in as well. Like, there's a mystic witch in the that you have to speak to in the tavern, and she's like, "What is your want?"
Yeah. Or
Are you doing
maybe
the
get-
voice for her as well?
Yeah, I'll voice her too. I'll just be like,
I think
"What
you
is
should
it you
voice
want?"
all of the characters.
all of the
Except
characters,
for-
even Molyneux.
Yeah. So, Mines of Molyneux.
No, Molyneux.
Oh, the Mines of Molyneux. I like
Mines of
that.
Molyneux, a dwarf adventure, voiced entirely by Ravs.
By Ravs.
Yeah.
Would you make it?
Yeah,
You would make it,
Yeah, I like the idea of apart from the shackles.
right?
What's your problem with the
I
shackle?
do think that's a good modifier, though.
Yeah, but
The one
not-
thing that annoys me is when if someone's being slow, that
What?
like, you can always run ahead, and if they're being really slow, I can't. I why? Because
What if you
But
can use
that's the game with the friends. So that's
Yeah,
the point.
it's-
You choose
it's-
to play it.
The
You-
shackles are just a literal way of what all these other 4-player co-op games are doing. Like if you run off on your own and a hunter pounces you on Left 4 Dead, now you've got a shackle. You can
Yeah,
say,
you're
"Don't
right. Yeah,
run off."
yeah.
And you can just pull them closer to you.
yank them back.
Get over
Yeah.
it.
Get
Maybe
back
you
here.
can mine ore and make the shackles longer and upgrade them. So you can have ridiculously long
Oh, yeah.
shackles.
How do you upgrade the shackles?
I don't know.
I
Just
was gonna
use
say, like,
magic,
hang on,
man.
we'll take those off, and then we'll put the longer ones on.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
maybe
you
it's
have
like
to-
the Roger
you
Rabbit
can
gag
cut-
where he
cut them in
takes
the
the
middle and then
handcuff
add them
off
and stick
and
them back together.
slips out of it.
Or
No, but
maybe
it'd be
they're
like Astroneer
magic,
where you just
and the more
increase
you
the tether
mine,
length.
it goes straight into the shackles until eventually they break or something like that. Like,
Maybe, they're just really silly, dense dwarves.
But I liked your idea there of like at the tavern having mini games to do like arm wrestling table where you and your
That's
friends
how you
got
decide
a
your
scrammy-
strength.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then,
like
no, he's
a
passed out.
drinking game that could lead to crazy modifiers. The weird witch, just some little mini game stuff to do that maybe does benefit the game, but maybe it's just there for a
Well, I
laugh
feel
while
that's
you're
a good way
waiting
of
for your friend's like, I'm away for a
choosing
piss.
stats.
I'll be back in a minute, and you're like we're sitting here like waiting, like we want to fucking start the game. So arm wrestle me, you know?
Because that could arm wrestle
that.
could do your carry capacity.
Yeah.
Sorry, could do your fighting ability. Then you can drinking can do your drinking ability.
Yeah, what would drinking? How would that impact the
Maybe.
the game in the?
Stoutiness, I guess. The
Yeah.
health.
So, like,
Stamina
how
Oh
many-
no,
no,
the stats.
What about?
Also, how big you are. As
well, yeah. What about speed?
Speed.
Just by how inebriated
Perception?
you are.
Maybe your ability to spot minerals.
It's better.
I don't know.
When
No,
you're
no,
drunk.
no, it's worse.
It's
Oh,
worse.
right. Okay.
So Chris, you would make it.
I'll make it with a few changes.
You will make it.
I will make this. Mines
I
of
feel like
Molyneux.
Chris is the deceptive dwarf here. He's not going with the shackles.
Yeah, he's
I'm
going
the
to
one
make
who-
it, but it's not quite what we wanted.
He's gonna make his own.
He's going to make
version.
the minds of Mads Mikkelsen.
Not the mines of
Minds of Mickelson,
Yeah,
Mickelmane.
Mickelcraft.
Greg?
Okay, would
Yeah,
you?
definitely make it. And I'd play it. And it almost feels a little bit like a little dream game with all these ideas.
Oh
and
my
they're very
God,
creative.
okay.
I'm
Wow.
very
And
And I
interested.
suppose for you, would you make the art for it?
Yeah. I already kind of imagining like
Knowing that this is a procedurally generated game as well, which I imagine requires a lot more artwork for assets and things that might not even appear.
I think it's like textures. Like you can draw one texture and then just change make 10 variation with different colors. So
Oh, okay. That's all right then.
it's-
That's
it's-
easy then.
it's- Yeah. it's
Turns
not
out
bad.
this game's very easy to make. Okay, and you would all play. Would you actually play it, Chris?
yeah. It depends who.
Chris, we can figure the chain system out.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. What is it? Those famous
You're
games.
not always going to be shackled either. It's a
That's true.
modifier.
Gabe
Yeah.
Newell said any one of the ideas could have been good if it was given enough time.
Yeah.
That's all we
Shackles eventually will be the selling point of the
People
game.
would be like, oh, genius.
Yeah. They'll
Well, I mean,
think
you're all
That's what they said
staring at
about
me
chicken.
like I've
we're just trying to turn
committed a
you,
murder.
we're just trying to turn you around to shackles. I think
Okay,
that's the
yeah. You know
defining
what?
feature.
pro-slavery.
It's not quite.
It's not slavery.
All right, brilliant. Before we finish off, we're getting towards the end. As we've got you here today, Ravs, I wanted to talk a little bit about.
Don't say Death Stranding. Oh, for fuck's
Just
sake!
because this will never come up in any of the other recordings we do, but Ravs is like probably the
'cause-
biggest Hideo Kojima fan that I know.
Yeah.
So pitch Hideo Kojima to us. What is it that's so good about him? Because I feel like
I think he's
don't
very
understand
innovative
still.
with his gameplay. Like he tries to do stuff that nobody else has done.
Running.
Like as you see back with the PlayStation 1, the Metal Gear Solid 1, the Psycho Mantis boss fight.
Everyone
Yeah,
always
where
uses
you
that
had
example,
to
but that was
take-
20 years ago.
I don't
Yeah.
like. I don't like. Metal Gear
like I
Solid.
said, let's go back, Alex. You know, and then like Metal Gear Solid 3, like I'd never really seen a system with like breaking your bones and having to like go into the status menu and get a splint and bandage to fix your arm and
There
like
was the bit. Was it 2 where he's like
Vats
telling
do
you
that.
shouting at you to turn off the
yes,
console?
yeah, he
My
tells
friend
you
completely freaked out
t-
by that.
yeah,
He just
turn
turned-
off
he,
the
like, pulled
console,
the-
delete
pulled
your
the power cord
save,
out of his
like broke the
PlayStation.
the kernel goes like haywire and like tells you to delete your save.
Isn't
and,
there a
like,
part
I
where you
need
have to-
scissors 61 and all this crazy
Isn't there a
stuff.
part where you get mind controlled and you have to plug your controller into?
Yeah, I heard that
Yeah,
as well.
Psycho
That was
Mantis.
genius.
Yes, that is genius.
You also reads the
I
economy
s-
games
yeah.
on your memory card.
I see you've been playing Crash Bandicoot's Fun Party.
I see you've been playing Hello Kitty, the porn version.
Yeah.
No,
Mom, get out of the room.
The card was from Blockbuster.
Yeah. I think he makes like interesting
Oh my
worlds.
God.
And yeah, I just think his games are great. I think he's very innovative, and I've loved everyone I've played.
I think as a designer, he's very innovative, but as a writer, which I think is what he wants to be.
Yeah, once they
ultimately
do
he's-
films, he's very interested in films.
Yeah,
Let's
he's,
see him-
he's straying
he's
too
awful.
far from the designer that who made a game where you can beat a boss by not playing the console for 10 days. Which I was just like, this is the best thing ever.
It's shit like that that's so good. Like
Yeah.
nobody else has done that.
Okay.
Right? You know.
So if you had to choose a director to compare him to, and then a musician to compare him to, because we talked about this.
David Lynch.
We were like
David Lynch
who
is
is
the
the Kanye
director.
West of video games.
Yeah,
I see.
I think he
Kanye
is the
West.
Kanye West of video games.
I think it's the Soldier Boy of video games.
I
Oh.
disagree there.
Because he
makes
made a
sense.
console, didn't he?
Soldier
What
Boy is the
about,
Soldier Boy of video
Death
games.
Yeah.
Stranding.
Death
you like-
Stranding.
Yeah, did you like that?
I thought the combat was very weak in it, but I don't really think combat was supposed to be the point of it. But the combat that was in the game, I felt was pretty lacking. Like there was a point where I had a boss fight, and it was like this big cutscene. This thing comes out the ground. I was like, holy shit, this thing looks badass. And then I literally beat it by sprinting out of like the void goo, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
respawned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
But even when you are fighting it, when you think about what you're doing, you're just throwing piss and shit at a goo monster.
I like
I
the.
feel like
Yes.
he's like a
Like
very
a-
smart man, and everything
Uh-huh.
is fine with him. But I
Mhm.
think that he created Death Stranding just to laugh from people and just to have fun.
You know what I
He
think? I
because
think
it's like he shows like how he puts like that video that you sent about crab and stuff.
Oh
and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it feels
Nonsense,
it
isn't
feels
it?
like he's doing that just for fun, and he's like, look, I will do this, and people will think that that's amazing.
It feels to me a bit like, do you know when the difference between like the Matrix and then the sequels, where or like Peter Jackson and everything that he did after the Lord of the Rings, where someone is very very talented, they do something that's very successful, and then they just
give
get
them free
everything they
rein.
want.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's what happened with him, and that's
Yeah.
what's still
I
happening.
feel
with
like
him.
he did that just to laugh a little bit.
he probably thinks he needs to be that intelligent as well.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
So he does stuff that's a bit off kilter and offbeat. to
Tom,
try
Yeah,
and-
there must be
Tom
like
is giving me a look
compensate-
that he wants to say something very opinionated.
It's not. No. It's just fucking. The problem is that Death Stranding is a game.
Yep.
That where
Is it
No,
that's
don't-
in the podcast
no.
there?
It's a game where he sat around a table with like 5 other people, much like this, and they spent months and months and months coming up with ideas for games, and it was like an inside joke. And those people sat around the table, they understand Death Stranding, and they know exactly what it was.
And they're rolling in
And
money.
then they just put the
Technically.
game out and forgot about what about context. I think this game needs context and maybe some sort of idea of what you're actually doing and why you're doing it. Sure, some of it's revealed later on, but is it really?
Where's
Nah.
Kojima? Oh, he's in a meeting with Jeff Keighley, who put him in the game.
Yeah, it's just it's like if someone had a load of money and a load of famous friends and they were like, let's make a game. And that was
he's
it.
the kind of guy that comes around and goes, he meets people, he's really friendly. He's then like, you want to be in a game?
Yeah.
I'll put you in a
You
game.
wanna be in
come
my
on.
game.
Get
That's how
in
he
the
gets
camera.
friends.
Yeah. Well,
It's
how
also
am I
how
gonna
he
fit in
gets.
the game. We'll figure it out.
That's how he gets
then that
free advertising
person-
as well. Like Conan
Well, yeah.
just did a whole
Oh, yeah.
bit on
Yeah,
his,
he
he
did a
did a whole
segment
bit on
about
his
it
show.
and going
Yeah.
to
And think how many
Japan
people in
and-
America watch that shite.
But that's what I mean is that person then goes into the game and then they say, hey, would it be cool if my character did this thing? And they're like, yeah, we can make it work. We can make it work.
Yeah.
It's great. And it feels like a
Lovely,
mosaic
babe.
of like a million different games just thrown together. And it doesn't make a stained glass window. It makes like a shattered glass.
Keep on keeping on.
It's just so weird.
I liked all that. I liked that of what he was going for with like that social media thing. Like it's trying to be a.
He played it
positive
offline,
thing.
by the way.
I played it all offline.
Why?
Because I didn't want to buy PlayStation Now or whatever it's called.
You don't need PlayStation then, do you?
PlayStation
yeah.
Plus.
Oh, really?
Let's get it right.
I didn't want to pay for
whatever.
it to play it online. So the
Oh.
entire game was about connectivity and I played it offline.
I wonder why you didn't enjoy it as much.
No, I did. Like, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
And but the story was garbage. But like,
Some elements were
Oh,
very
right.
good. Some of it made me want
Yeah.
to rip my eyes out.
yeah.
Uh,
I really wanted a Monster Energy drink afterwards and to watch Norman Reedus' AMC show Ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally went to the shop one day to buy a Monster Energy
Yeah,
because
it
he
does
wanted
work.
that.
I mean, it works. The advertisement works. I was like, let's see what it's all about. Norman Reedus
Yeah.
is slamming 4 cans a day.
Yeah, that's
He's
not
gonna-
healthy.
I really-
That's
I
not
really want you to
healthy.
be able to
Which,
just
if
keep
anyone
drinking
drank
them
it
until
that
he
way, their
dies.
heart would explode. And I was kind
Yeah.
of hoping there would be a cutscene if I drank at all of the ones on the table that Norman Reedus would
He could
pass
make a
out.
lot of the grenades and the amount of shit that would come out of it.
All right, so Minds of Molyneux.
Yeah.
Was that the final title? Is
Yeah.
that what? Okay.
What a
That's
lovely
pretty good
segue.
title.
Well, I like Minds of Mistrust or
Minds of Mistrust.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Minds of Molyneux.
Molyneux's Minds of Mistrust.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Molyneux's
Yeah.
Minds of Mistrust, A Dwarven Adventure
A dwarven mining adventure
Game.
by Peter Molyneux.
By
by
Peter
Peter
Molyneux.
Molyneux.
A Hideo
And his-
Kojima game.
and
Yeah.
his,
And
and
his
his-
Kojima game.
his fake son Milo.
Yeah. Everyone
Yeah.
would make it. Everyone would play it. No one wants Chris to make it because he will take the chains out.
I
of
said
it.
I would keep the chains in.
I don't think. I think you'll get to a
Chain,
point where
snap
you'll say,
Dragon Rooter.
no, you'll say, oh, chains just aren't working. Whoops, and then delete it. And then all of a sudden we're just
Yeah.
like, oh, you did try the chains. I don't think you did. You didn't try the chains. Try
He
the
wants
chains.
to say this game needs changes.
Oh.
I don't
Right,
get it.
I'm leaving.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks Ravs for joining
Thank
us.
you, Ravs.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having
everyone.
everyone listening about my dream game that I made up in a week.
Your
Yeah,
dream
brilliant.
game.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I wouldn't play it. I'll
Well,
just.
you put Death Stranding offline, so you can just get out of the room.
He'll play that solo and be like, it's
Yeah.
not very good.
No, I mean I'll play Vermintide.
I get the vibe that you just don't want to pay for
Come on,
online.
Vermintide.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye. 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 Bye.